Good afternoon. Welcome. Thank you for being here today. I'm Mayor Dan Pope, and it's my great pleasure to welcome C-SPAN to Lubbock. Please help me welcome Debbie and her crew here. So they're here to do a bit of a history on our great city, and we look forward to sharing a lot about what makes Lubbock unique. We all know that it's the great people that live here that still have that pioneer, entrepreneurial kind of hardscrabble spirit to them all, and we'll get to talk about that. But before I go, I want to make sure that I thank Suddenlink, or I think now they want to be Suddenlink Altice USA. But our partners at Suddenlink locally, our friends there have been community corporate citizens for a long time. So thank you guys for what you do. We appreciate that. They carry 3 channels of C-SPAN, commercial free. They do it for a relatively low rate. When you look at what the cable channels are, a very low rate for when you figure out what you pay. I spend most of my time on Suddenlink watching CNBC and ESPN. I think we pay a whole lot more for that every month, but C-SPAN does good work. I do watch C-SPAN some, but I must be honest with you and tell you I don't watch much TV, but I certainly appreciate what C-SPAN does. Suddenlink has no editorial control over that. It's not paid for by the government, as many people think it is, and so I do every once in a while get a chance to watch our local congressman pontificate a little bit on there. I say that with all due respect. He's a very good friend, and we often get a note when Congressman Arrington's going to be on there, and we can watch him live. So that's good to be able to do that. Lubbock's history goes back some 12,000 years. We have archaeological evidence of ancient people and extinct animals that lived here that long ago. In fact, we're one of the few places that can document that we had man living here that long ago. And when we talk about our community, we think about Texas Tech University. We think about music. We think about the fact that, with all due respect to Austin, we're the original live music capital of the state of Texas, and we're still very proud of that. The home of Buddy Holly and Mac Davis and many other musicians. You can see right up here in just on the canyon, not only the prettiest part of Lubbock where we were settled in this very canyon that's in front of us, but also really 2 great museums to our who we are. The Wind Power Museum, where we are today, and next door the Bayer Agriculture Museum, both of which are museums that we're really proud of. So I'm not going to go on because I could talk for a long time about our history, but I want to introduce Tanya Meadows from the Wind Power Museum to make a few comments, and then we'll hear from the C-SPAN folks, and they'll talk a little bit about what they're going to do this week. Tanya?
I want to first thank everybody for coming out today. This is kind of exciting for us to be involved in this, and I'll give you a little bit of history about the museum here. We started in 1993 with my boss, Coy Harris, who is our executive director, and Billy Wolf, who was a teacher at Texas Tech University, and started putting the windmills together and collecting them and gathering them. We moved onto this property in '98, and we've just continued to grow since then. This part of the country wouldn't have been here without the windmill. We virtually have no surface water. So therefore, it took a windmill to draw up water for people to be able to farm and live. And also for the trains to come this direction. So those steam engines have to drink water about every 15 to 30 miles. If you think about our little towns out here, about how far we're spread out, about 15, 30 miles down the road's that next town. That's probably because that's where the train had to stop for water, so we got that town there. We have over 200 windmills on display here. And we have about 200 more that are still in restoration phase that we're trying to get put up. So we're still growing. Having started in 1993, we are a baby in the museum world, but we're a big baby. and we'll accept that. If you get a chance to look around after we finish here, we would love for you to. We'll stick around as long as you want to stick around and look at the windmills and stuff. And if you have any questions, I'll be here, and Mr. Harris will be here to answer questions for you. Thank you very much for coming again, and I'll pitch it to Debbie.
Okay, mine's a little longer. I'm kidding. Okay, thank you all for coming here today. I see a lot of faces that we've seen as we've done our research, and we're going to meet a lot of you personally that we haven't had a chance to meet yet. So it's nice when we're doing this research and we see your names to put a name to a face. And Kirby, I'm sorry, Kirby, this beautiful woman sitting in front of me, I truly envisioned her as an older person and a male. So, because Kirby, I was thinking, and you can't do that anymore. So first of all, thank you, and I'm sorry. And I don't even know what you imagine me to look like, so you can make something up. But I want to thank you all for coming, and Mayor, for having us in your fine city. You work with a great team of folks. Amanda Valdez, where are you? Was wonderful in helping us. Tanya Meadows and Mr. Harris here, who kindly gave up their facility to have us here, and as well as participate in the programming that we're going to be doing, because as Tanya mentioned, windmills in this area are a huge important part of this area, but also a huge important part of our history as well. And then I want to personally thank our Suddenlink Altice USA cable partners, and they're sitting right here, so thank you very much. They are the ones that brought to our attention that we should go to Lubbock, and so this is the farthest we've been in Texas due west, so we're really honored to be here. As the mayor mentioned, a lot of people think we're funded by the government. We receive our funding from a license fee that our local cable partners in the cable industry pay us. So for 3 networks, for 24 hours of watching your government officials in action without commercials, editorializing on our part, and without ratings, so we don't know who's watching. So the one show that you watch, we appreciate. So, and we did it, the cable industry gave us the seed money back in '79 to get started, and they've kept that commitment to carry us on there. And so they don't make any money off of us. It is truly a mission-driven network to open up the public policy debate on certain issues, and to be nonpartisan, not bipartisan, but nonpartisan. And so that's very important to us, and we try to do that in the cities that we visit as well. The C-SPAN Cities Tour was created in 2011, and the reason that is on the weekends we have niche programming that we call, because we know the House and Senate aren't going to be in usually on the weekends. Then we created what we call 48 hours of nonfiction book-related programming, so book TV on C-SPAN 2. If you like nonfiction authors, well, heck, we've been doing some things with some fiction authors lately, but primarily that, or book festivals. It also is an extension of the public policy debate. And you can't argue that. A lot of nonfiction writers, when we look at journalism, technology, public policy, ethnic diversity, etc. So on C-SPAN 3 on the weekends, it's 48 hours of American history TV programming. So what we decided to do is let's get out of Washington, D.C. and work with our local cable provider in each one of these cities, because they're the reason why we're here and why you get to see us. And also work with the city. So and then we get some great programming that we can put on C-SPAN 2's Book TV, so nonfiction authors, special collections, and history programming on C-SPAN 3, okay? And it has been, for me, I've been lucky enough to do a lot of startup projects at C-SPAN, one of the most exciting things that we do. And when I say we, I want to introduce, I'm just the representative of C-SPAN, if you will. The 2 gentlemen here also, but there are producers. To the left is John Farrell. He's our Book TV producer. And so, working on interviewing the nonfiction authors or producing the rare book collections. And in the back is Scott Hummelsheim. He's our history producer. So, and his shoots can be, as John can attest to, kind of cumbersome. If you look around here, I'm thinking, we're coming tomorrow. What great stuff. That's a lot of B-roll. But anyway, we think it's been a great project. It has really enhanced our programming on those two networks. The key was to bring our national audience to a city, selected city, to learn more about that city's history and its literary culture, to feature it to our national audience that might not otherwise ever have been here, will be here. And secondly, most importantly, we learn a great deal. And we went to the Buddy Holly Center yesterday. Brooke is here from there and spoke with Jackie, the curator, and both Scott and I were, I think the poor woman, I think we made her talk close to an hour. I don't know. But we learned a lot about Buddy Holly that we didn't know, and we hope to bring that to our national audience. The goal of each piece is going to be 5 to 15 minutes in length. It just depends. But for example, we're interviewing Tanya tomorrow about the windmill and the energy, all those things she was talking about. She will be the one that you'll see on the piece. You won't see Scott or myself. We take our questions out. And that's because we want the city to tell the story. And this city has a huge story to tell. In fact, we're not going to be able to get to all the great stuff that you have to offer here. So without further ado, I know I'm a little winded, so bear with me. We're going to, for American History TV, as I mentioned, we went to the Buddy Holly Center and spoke with Jackie Beaubert about Buddy Holly, his legacy, his impact on the music industry. It was fascinating to find out that really his career was an 18-month-long career. And the Beatles were inspired by him. They owned the rights to his works, and he died at 22 years old. It was amazing. And the impact, and he came right out of here, out of Lubbock. So something to be proud of. We're going to look at the history of ranching with Executive Director Jim Brett. Sue Wood is here. Where are you, Sue? There she is. What's that? Okay, well, now you're Wood, okay? Something happened, and you're no longer Jones. No, so Sue Jones, that's what you get at this mine, to try to remember off the top of your head. I deserve that. So thank you for coming. Scott was there this morning, and he said it was a great interview. Jim Brett was fantastic. So we're learning a lot about the history of ranching. We will go to the Bear Agriculture Museum, which some of you might have visited because you thought maybe the event was there. And we will we'll interview Dan here. He's sitting right here. And then Kirby has been fantastic in trying to track Dan down, but also recommending, steering us in the right direction on the approach to take with this piece. A lot of agriculture out of here. The cotton industry is what we'll focus on, but the other aspects as well. So I didn't know, 90% of the grapes for wine are grown here. Is that true? Wow. The most exciting thing I've seen, on a side note, I don't know why, I was with Scott, I think I scared him to death, but a prairie dog. I've never seen one, and I know you guys, the thing is like, and I'm like, oh my God, he's a prairie dog.
Can help you with, he's got some.
Do you?
Yeah.
I want to get a picture next to one if they'll stand long enough. Okay, that won't happen. All right, and then as we mentioned, we'll be here tomorrow and learn about, here at the American Windmill Museum, and learn about the windmill history. We will also go to Texas Tech University. You can't not go to Texas Tech. And that's a huge campus, beautiful. We'll be at the Vietnam Center and Archive, and we learned that, during our research, that center is the second largest collection of Vietnam archive material behind Washington, D.C. So something really unique that Lubbock has for itself. I have been in touch with Curtis that would talk to me about the music industry. So I don't know. I don't think he's here today. We haven't got to, but a lot of what you were talking about that people don't realize, that West Texas and the music industry and its impact. You think of Nashville, you think of all those places. But for Book TV, we're interviewing, now I have to read the book names, but we're interviewing Sean Cunningham. Where is he? There you are. Thank you. We're interviewing him about American politics in the you should just name your book. No. American politics in the post-war Sun Belt, conservatism growth in a battleground region. Okay. And where are you all doing that interview?
We did this morning.
That's right, on campus. So did it go okay? Actually,
I can still be there talking with them.
that's what he said. And they make fun of me because my interviews can be very long. And so he said, I didn't want to make it a Debbie interview, but we could have gone there. So that means you did a nice job. So I don't know. Anyway, Paul Carlson, which you probably, there he is. Thank you, sir, very much. Everybody mentioned Paul, too, as a well-known historian in the area, too. West Texas, a history of the giant size of the state, okay? Alwyn Barr, and he wrote the book about black Texans, and so we'll interview him. Miguel Lavario, which you probably do know as he's running for Congress, but he wrote the book about militarizing the border when Mexicans became the enemy. So we won't be talking to him about his run for Congress at all. We'll just be talking to him about the book. It's an interesting topic. And then Catherine Hayhoe, I don't know if she was able to make it today, but I guess a name you would all recognize? Yeah. We were lucky to get her too, all of these folks. A Climate for Change, Global Warming, Facts for Fiction-Based, or Facts for Faith-Based Decisions, okay? So we hope that we've done a pretty good job of trying to get a nice spray. And I'm sure you all are thinking, well, why didn't they do this, do that? I will have to tell you that in these pieces, we do learn a lot about the other aspects of history of the city when we're at these locations. And we talked to Jackie yesterday about Buddy Holly. We also learned about the impact of Buddy Holly's music on the ethnic community and what that's like. I know that Sean, you spoke today too about, so we try to, you're going to learn other parts of Lubbock's history within those stories that we're covering. So just because I name that as a topic doesn't mean we're not going to cover other things. So 7th and 8th on C-SPAN 2 and C-SPAN 3. Also, Lubbock will have its own special web page. So all of these segments will be available online indefinitely on our Cities Tour website. And on our video library, which is all connected, there's 235,000 hours of C-SPAN programming on there dating back to 1980, and I strongly suggest you go home tonight and watch every one of them. Okay, no. But what you can do is, if you miss it on the air, you'll be able to watch it online, and we will be promoting that as we go into the weekend. But we certainly appreciate being here. It's been a warm, warm welcome. And I'm sorry if I've kept you too long, but we do want to thank again our Altice, our Suddenlink partners for all that they've done, and we've enjoyed a long partnership, business partnership with them, Suddenlink, and now they've transitioned to Altice USA, and we will continue to do so. And we have really enjoyed the city so far. We got in late Saturday night, but we've managed to hit like 3 eating joints, right? Like 4, maybe 5? Okay, we all spread out. We do the local, so if you have any suggestions, of course we'll do it.
I'll help you with that later.
What's that? Okay, that's it. And most importantly, we will be getting a tour of Lubbock by our very own mayor. Now I've moved to Lubbock. Our very own mayor, Mayor Pope.
You get registered to vote.
So we'll learn a lot. We will be able to show our audience, what Lubbock looks like, what the feel is, what it's known for as well. And so his driving tour will air on both networks that weekend, and then you'll be warehoused online indefinitely as well. So, any questions?
Before we do that,
Yeah.
first of all, I'm not driving. I know some of you guys would be glad to know that, but I failed to introduce 2 of my peers on the city council, Steve Massengale and Jeff Griffith, who serve with me, as well as our city manager, Jared Atkinson. I think it's appropriate that I thank them for being here today, too. You've already called Brooke out and Amanda. They're the ones that do all the work, but I thought I needed to at least introduce these 3 also.
Absolutely. Thank you for coming. And thank you all, because you're busy, and we really appreciate it, and the 3 of us just want to thank you so much for having us in your city. So if there's any questions, I'll take them. If not, that's a wrap. Okay. Thank you very much.